I had an interesting question following up the filling of donut shapes. And the question is, how can I achieve a text that is smooth on the right side as well? So this is left-aligned text, and there's of course another option to approach this. But all in all, there are some things that are important for both situations. So let's first set up the text wrap. I'm going to select all these shapes and then go to Object, Text Wrap, Make. And then let's also set up the options, because I don't want that large gap in this situation. So let's go to the options and set this to 0. And then, of course, get rid of that stroke, like so. So now what's important for both situations is a correct character setting. So what we need to do is set up the correct language. Now this is German text, and of course I have to set it to German, and let's go to this option. Now Illustrator can apply the correct grammar to hyphenate those words. The next thing that's important, we have to give Illustrator the chance to even fit the words into the space. So if the space is too small, then this won't work at all. You see that in newspapers all the time. Their columns are just too narrow for the words to fit. So this text is just too large for this to work at all. So it needs to be smaller. And you see, when the text gets smaller, this works better. Just like that. Next thing is, let's take a look at left-aligned and at justified text. So first of all, let's go to the left-aligned text. It's smooth on the left side, but not on the right side. And for that to work, we go into the hyphenation. In the hyphenation, of course, we have to set up the hyphenation, so words longer than, and this needs to be short, so that anything that is possible to hyphenate at all needs to be hyphenated. So you see that also in newspapers, that I sometimes hyphenate after one letter. So let's leave it at 2. And then also the hyphen limit, so 0 won't work. So let's set that high. We have a lot of hyphens then in a row, but we can change that. And also what we need is not fewer hyphens, but better spacing. That still is not enough, and we need to get at the hyphenation zone. So Illustrator needs the hyphenation zone to be smaller. And then you will see, when I turn on the preview and change this, then you see the changes coming in. And the smaller this gets, the more hyphenation we get, and the better this works. So this is now what can be achieved. If you want even more, then you need to get at the characters, and you might even adjust the horizontal scaling of characters and distort them, so to make more words fit. That's it. Or you make a different setting for the tracking, so just that this gets narrower. But then it also gets ugly. So let's take a look at the full justified text. So let's first set this to fully justified, like so. But then we have large gaps in this text. And again, we need to get at the hyphenation and, of course, make more hyphens possible. So let's move this to the side, and then also we just set a lower value here and set a higher value here to make more hyphens possible. But the next thing we need to do is go to the justification. So the justification, let's get to the letter spacing and set this to -5 and set this to +5. And you see it already gets better, but it's not sufficient. So we need to scale the glyphs. And we allow a slightly scale and it already gets better. But if that is not sufficient, then of course we need to allow more and maybe make this lower, so word spacing is not really good if you allow more word spacing. So let's go lower in here and maybe allow like more in here. And you see it gets slightly better, but maybe we need to even touch this. And you see there it gets better. And you need to have to balance this against the legibility of the text, but that's what you need to do.